Hello and welcome back to my vlog. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Hayley and I'm one of the regional ministers in the Southern Counties Baptist Association, and I've not long finished my presidential year with Baptist Together. Over that year I decided to vlog what was happening, took a little break, and now I'm just doing this as a kind of regular update about what's going on in life and ministry. So yeah, here we go. So one of the questions I get asked a lot, actually I don't get asked it as a question, I get a kind of comment that feels a bit shady, and they always say to me now, oh, so you're in the Southern Counties now, like, is this a permanent move? Is this a permanent role? And what they mean by that is you've moved around a lot. And I do get asked, oh, you've moved around a lot. That comment happens a lot. And I guess some people have asked me out and out to my face, like, can you not stick a job for very long? Is what they mean. And so I just wanted to address that a little bit in this session, if that's okay. Session, oh my life, this is not going to be a session, this is just going to be a really quick vlog. Wow, yeah. So basically I've always moved when I felt God call me on to a different role. That's it. So I had a fairly lengthy ministry on Hayling Island Baptist Church. Now by lengthy, what do we mean by that? I don't know. So the Methodists kind of move around every 5 years. Yeah, I was on Hayling Island for a chunk of time. I then moved to Welwyn Garden City, then to South Wales, then to the Northern Baptist Association, and now here to Southern Counties. Yeah, and I've moved when I felt God call me move. And please get this right, like, it's not like I just go, I want that job, and then people give it to me. There's a process of discernment, often interviews and everything else. So it's not just me that feels it's the right time. There are others confirming that as well. The lighting's a bit dodgy in here, sorry. So I felt called into regional ministry. I felt called very strongly into regional ministry, which is why I applied for the role in South Wales. Why did I apply for the role in South Wales way back when? A few people had nudged me, and I felt it was time to enter into regional ministry, but I didn't feel a call to a location. I just felt a call to translocal ministry. So South Wales was the first one that came up, and I went for that, and I didn't think I'd get it because I was like just turned 30. Didn't think I'd get it at all. But I did. So I moved and went for that, but it was only ever part-time, and I really struggled with that because part-time meant I didn't get maybe all the housing, well, I didn't get all the housing benefits that a full-time minister or indeed a part-time minister in another association would have got, which made it incredibly difficult to survive, to live. So there was that going on. I went 50% church-based. I didn't necessarily feel called to be church-based ministry. I felt called to regional ministry, so there was always a challenge there, and it was lockdown. And then the role in the north came up, and this was really about transition. And I sat down with my regional minister team leader Mark in South Wales and said, you know, what do you think? And he was like, no, this looks like it's written for you. I think you should go for it. So I did, and again, not expecting to get anywhere. I just pushed the door, and the door opened, and so I followed that call. And the role in the north was tough. I've reflected in this space and other places. It was really tough. So the role of transition, everyone wants a transition. Everyone thinks change is a good idea until it affects them, until they've got to change. And so we went and there was some systematic issues that we had to deal with, some systemic issues. We tackled those, and it's tough when you're the one kind of digging the ground, so to speak. When you're the one making those shifts, you're then the target of people's anger and annoyance, and that took its toll. Also, I've said in this space, I've faced more prejudice because of my gender than anywhere else that I've experienced. I went into churches and people picked up the Bible and started reading it at me and told me that wasn't me. I wasn't that type of leader. Simply because of my gender. It was so weird. Weird, challenging, and emotionally draining all the time. Emotionally draining. So, there was a part where we thought I might stay on in the north. But as I reflected, as I pondered, I realised that actually God wasn't calling me to stay in the north. Not because God loves me and wants me to be in a warmer climate, but just because when you are the person that does all that transition work, you're not necessarily the person to do the building. And so the role was always only temporary, and I knew that, and I knew there'd be a risk in that. But it wasn't right to move on. So it was right to move on, it wasn't right to stay. And that was a difficult decision. Because the danger is that all the transition could have sprung back. But my role was always to almost appoint the next person. So I was involved in that process, and we got there. And that was good. And so, having been in different roles in associations and in churches, I've kind of now developing actually what is God really calling me to. And so Claire and I decided to apply jointly for the Southern Counties role. And we did that because we believe that collaboration is the key. We believe that sharing leadership is the right way forward. We believe in a collaborative Trinitarian God, and so we wanted to reflect that in our leadership style. And thankfully, it wasn't just us that thought that was a good idea. And so I've moved back down south. And so the answer is, is this permanent? Well, it's until God calls me on. Claire and I have an idea, obviously, because we've had to chat about this and commit to each other, and there's some national things that are happening that we want to be able to be ideally in the place for to pivot. And I love this association. It's really embraced me, a big kind to me, which is wonderful. And so the answer is, I don't know how permanent this is, but what I will know is I will constantly follow the call of God on my life. Not because I get bored, not because I can't stick a role, but because I want to be obedient to the one I'm called to serve. And for some people that's difficult, isn't it? They think that's a super spiritual reason. It's not. It genuinely is the right reason. I've always had the approach of God, I'll go anywhere. And I have kind of done a full circle of the country. And I'm grateful to have had those experiences. I mean, it's tough, isn't it? So I moved down in the summer. My house isn't ready yet. So I'm kind of just living out of a suitcase almost as I prepare. But the association have wonderfully bought me a house. So we're just waiting for that to be all sorted, and then I'll feel settled. But it's been great moving into a new association. It's a different role, and that's what I really love about this. So I've not gone from association to association to association replicating what I've done before. My role in South Wales was focusing on mission and engaging churches in missional activities. My role in the north was transitioning and developing as well as leading. And now my role here is a co-leadership role. And although there will be changes, there will be transitions, and please don't read that as massive change, there are things that Claire and I will do that will be different from the past. and we will always seek to hold things lightly, but we are here because we think it's important. And so that's why I've moved around a lot. So now you know. You don't need to flower up, you don't need to ask it in some weird way. You don't need to make a judgment on why I've moved around and what that means. Simply following God. Yeah. I wish people, hopefully soon, people will learn to phrase that stuff better. But yeah, so that's why. What I'll do, no, I was going to like import some pictures and stuff like that, but actually I don't think I've got many to import. So this one's just me chatting to a camera. I hope that's okay. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to connect with me on social media, then please do scan the QR code and follow me and engage on what I'm doing on a regular basis. And also please do subscribe. That way you'll be alerted when this quality content gets uploaded. That's it for now, and I will see you next time.